let's say, oh, here's, sorry about that, we'll move my control panel off here towards the side. There we go, perfect. So this homepage right here, this is where you can go, especially if you're a brand new user on Dotloop, and maybe this is your first time seeing the platform. This is where you can actually create your account, or if you are an existing user, maybe you haven't signed in the past couple of months, or maybe you need a fresh password, you can always go right up here and hit sign in as well. But to sign up to and for Dotloop for the first time, it's as easy as just hitting sign up for free right here. If you are a returning user, maybe you go right to Dotloop.com and you're not logged directly into your account, you can go right up here to the sign in button, click sign in, and just put in your email and the password that you set for your account. Now, if you haven't logged into Dotloop in a little while and you get hit with an error message saying you entered the password, or hey, we don't recognize your email address, you can just simply hit forgot your password right here, and you'll be sent a secure email, and you'll be able to get signed right into the system through. You can just create your own password right from that. And then when you get signed into Dotloop, you will be brought when you get signed in for the first time, you will be brought to what I am your agent homepage or your agent dashboard. And this is where you will see all of your transactions, or what we like to call them back at Dotloop, all of your loops. And really, in 10 words or less, what a loop is for some of our newer users, maybe some agents that want to get some more value out of Dotloop but really haven't used the system. What a loop is it's a place where real estate agents come together to get deals done. So inside of a transaction or inside of a loop, you can have all of your documents pertaining to the real estate deal. You can have those documents separated out into your different into your different folders, be it a buying folder, a listing folder, MISC folder for scanned copies of home inspection receipts, you name it. And then you can share those documents off to anyone who needs them, be it a client, a listing agent, someone at the bank, or even a service provider. So inside of a transaction, you can share documents off to anyone who needs them. Anyone who needs to sign them, who needs to see them, or even who needs to fill them out and prepare them for electronic signatures. So inside of a transaction, it's really just where you control everything as it comes to the real estate deal. And what I always like to do, especially from the listing side of the transaction, especially when we have sort of a blank slate profile right here that I've created before the call, is I always like to just create a transaction, dive right in, and show you around all of the best practices as it comes to creating a transaction in Dotloop. Of our real estate documents, two different types of documents that we'll be working with today. The first type will be the fully interactive version that my brokerage has shared with me, or my association has made available to me. And the other type of documents that we'll spend some time focusing on are our PDF documents that we either have saved on our desktop, in our inbox, or documents that I'm going to scan in here in the next couple of minutes and save to my computer. Where we work with those and also how we create a brand new transaction is we simply hit the big plus button right here to create a new loop, or to add a new transaction. Once we hit the big plus button right here, we'll be asked to create a loop. And we'll be asked right here to drop a name on this transaction. Entirely up to you how you name these transactions. But what I always like to do is I always like to name my loops relatively the same. Just because if I have 10 or 15 transactions going on at once, I want to be able to look at my homepage and be able to tell what transaction is what. Entirely up to you, but typically how I like to name my loops is like this. We'll go with 12, 12, with my client's last name in there. So we have this 12 Brooks. Entirely up to you. Now, don't worry if you misspell this, or maybe it was a buying transaction and your client, Taylor, hasn't decided it on a property just yet. You can always go in and update the name of this transaction. So once something is created in Dotloop, once something is named, don't worry, you can always update the name of the transaction. You can always update the name of the folder, the person, and even the documents as well. So let's go ahead and create this loop and go into the loop, so to speak. So we're just going to create an empty transaction. I'm just going to hit create loop right here. will be brought into the loop, sort of speaking. And what we'll notice immediately about this transaction is that loop name 1212 gets pulled through, but there's currently no documents here in my folder, and the only people added to this transaction is me, the real estate agent, and the admin for my brokerage. In this case, my brokerage has their dashboard set up, so as soon as I create a transaction, my admins are automatically added to this loop. So what we just did, or what we just effectively did by creating this 1212s from Ellen Wade, walked up to the filing cabinet, pulled out an empty manila folder, and simply wrote 1212s from Ellen Wade on that little tab that sticks out. There's currently no documents loaded into this folder, and there's currently no one added to this transaction except for me in my office. And the first thing that I always like to cover is sort of your documents and how you can interact with them, and how you can also break them out into different folders as well. What we'll notice is here in our document section, there's currently only one folder. And this folder is called folder. If you want to rename this folder to anything you want to call it, you can do so by clicking these three little dots over here, just your universal icon option. And you'll see these dots scattered throughout the system. So if you immediately don't see the action that you want to take, about 90% of the time that action can be found directly underneath these three little dots, just a little action icon. You simply hit rename right here. Rename, you can call this folder the listing folder, listing documents, listing, you name it. So you can rename this to anything that you want to call it. If you also want to add or create additional folders, you can as well. So you can add as many folders as you choose to. And don't worry, you can upload anything that you want into Dotloop for storage as well. As agents, you all have unlimited storage as it comes to working with these interactive forms and as it comes to working with PDF documents. So if you have something pertaining to this transaction, you want to back it up. Maybe it's thing with the title company or scan copies of home inspection receipts. You can load it right here into this transaction and it will be backed up for you. So add folder right here, and you can also rename, duplicate the folder as well, right from underneath the option icon. Go ahead and bring a couple documents into this transaction, and I want to show you what it's like to work with standard PDF documents that I'll upload from my desktop. Some of the different options that we have when it comes to loading in those PDFs, and also what it's like to work with the interactive forms that my brokerage or my association have provided to me through this template section. But first things first, let's go ahead and bring in a couple documents, or actually just one document that I have saved on my desktop. So on my desktop, I have just a short, I think it's a short sale listing addendum right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply drag and drop this file in right into this transaction. Drag and drop files here. So just as if I was dragging and dropping a PDF into my inbox or into an email, you can do the same thing here within your document section. So if you have forms saved on your desktop, you can go in and select all of them right into your loop. So I just dropped it right in there. Perfect. So we just have this standard plain Jane PDF that I dragged and dropped in from my desktop. That's one way to get your PDF documents loaded into the platform. The other way to get PDFs brought into the system is by doing a hard search of your computer. So if you hit browse right here, you get that pop-up saying select your files to upload. And you can pick and choose what files you want to upload. Maybe you have these documents saved on a file on your desktop, or they're still in your downloads folder, they're just somewhere on your PC. You can browse your entire computer, bring those files in. Option that we have to bring in PDFs is via email. So a lot of times in transactions, or just a lot of times in general in real estate, we'll be sent an email from, let's say, Barry Buyer Agent in this circumstance with 3 or 4 different PDF attachments on an email saying, hey, here are these 3 documents that my buyers have just signed. Go ahead and send them off to your sellers, make sure that they agree to the terms. Well, normally you'd go, oh, great, now I have to save it to my desktop, drag and drop it in, maybe create a folder on my PC, save them in there, or print them off and rescan them. those files, they're saved in your inbox as PDFs. So they're already saved as PDFs, but they're online. They're in your inbox. If you click email, watch, I'm going to click it right now. This very long email address is automatically generated and copied for you. What you can do with this email is you can go to that message from Barry Buyer in your inbox, hit forward, paste this in the tube, and what will happen is once you hit send, those 3 PDF attachments will be uploaded right into this loop for you. So again, if you have those 4 or 5, however many PDF attachments, it could be 20 or 30, you want to load those into Dotloop. You come into Dotloop, you hit email, and then you simply paste this in and hit send from your inbox. And Dotloop will grab those PDF file extensions and load them right here into the system for you. Nifty tool, and if you haven't used this in the past, I would suggest, everyone here after the call, if you have an email in your inbox today with an attachment, give this a try. See how it works. It's immediate and it's super time-saving and convenient. And actually here after the call today, we are giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. So for anyone that's on the webinar today with me, here after the call, I think you have 24 hours to be entered in for the drawing. If you create a loop and add documents into it, you will be entered to win that $100 gift card. So a lot of cool stuff that you can get on Amazon for $100. So feel free here after the call, give this a try, create a loop, and who knows, you might win a $100 gift card. So really cool feature. Mobile agents absolutely love this just because you can forward documents right from your iPad sitting at Starbucks with your client, bring it into Dotloop and have your client sign right there with their finger on these PDF forms. Now the other way and the other type of documents that we can bring into the system, certainly we covered how we can bring in our PDF forms. I'll show you what it looks like to work with those here in the next couple of minutes. But the last way to get documents loaded in is via our templates right here. So here in our templates section, think of the templates as our main filing cabinet forms. Inside of our templates, this is where I can see all of our buying packets, listing packets that my brokerage has shared with me, or all of the interactive forms that my association has shared with me. I'm just going to click templates, and I can see all of the documents available to me. In this case, since my brokerage has a dashboard set up, they've broken out and created some various listing packets and buying packets for me to use to work with. Cincinnati area board form realtors are in here also, just because I'm attached to the Cincinnati MLS. Those documents are right in here for me. Now let's go through it. I'm just going to pick and choose a couple random documents from within here today that we'll be able to work with. So I'm just going to check off this addendum. We'll go through, let's grab the exclusive right, and why not? We'll grab a counteroffer for flood. And what else do we have? And we'll load in this exclusive right to lease. Why not? So we'll load in these 4 documents. Select the form. We'll bring them right in. Actually, I'll get rid of this exclusive right. We don't need it because we already have this exclusive right to sell. So here, let's remove this. I'm just going to click my option icon for the document and hit archive. So I'm just going to remove this from my view. I don't need it here in this transaction. So I have these 3 documents that I just loaded in for my templates. These are the fully interactive ones that I can type on. Everything's pre-assigned, they'll auto-populate. And then this last document in here, this is just that plain Jane PDF form that I brought in from my desktop, or that I emailed into Dotloop. So let's go ahead and open up these forms and take a look at what they look like and how we can work with them. So now, of course, I can click on these one by one and open them up individually. If I wanted to open up more than one file at once, I just check off the 2 documents here. Granted, 9 times out of 10, when you create a loop, you're going to load in your entire buying packet or your listing packet. You load in your entire listing packet, why not prepare them all at the same time? Let's just check off this entire folder and hit open right here. So let's open all 4 of these documents at once. Of Granted, if this was a standard listing or buying packet for Cincinnati, there would be 16 forms in here, but for today, we have these 4. Let's hit open. And we're going to open all of these documents at once, just as if I went up to that filing cabinet, my templates, grabbed my listing packet, and it's sitting in front of me. I'm at page 1, the first document in this form set. See, when you open up interactive documents for the first time, is you'll get hit with this option. What this pop-up is saying is this is saying, hey, Taylor, we notice first, you haven't added anyone to this transaction. Seller's information, go ahead and add them right now to this loop. So let me add my client. I'm just going to hit add person right here. And I'm just going to add myself. First name, last name, the client's preferred email. If you had all this additional information about your client, Taylor, you can drop it in right here. We'll hit add. So we'll add my client. Perfect, there he is. And then what also happens, the second option that we have is we can fill out all of this information about this transaction. So Dotloop will actually go in and do, almost think of it as like a smart scan of your documents. And this is showing you all of the fields that will populate more than once. So, hey, Taylor, fill this information out once so you don't have to type it out 30 or 40 times throughout the form. So we can go through and we can go 12, 12. And we'll just put some random information in here. Oh, that's long as it could. Information go. What's the normal? 12%. There we go. We can go through. We can fill out all of this additional info as well. 250,000. Geographic description. Just some random information in here, so you see how it will auto-populate throughout your forms. Typically, what I've seen is if you're working with your standard buying packet or listing packet that you create yourself or that your broker shares with you, about 80 to 120 fields will populate for you. So that's 100 fields you don't have to type out. And then we just hit autofill. All of that information pulls through. 16 fields have been auto-filled. Awesome. And then, now that we have these interactive forms in here, we can go through and just type on them like normal. Even if I was filling it out with, pen and paper on my MLS program, we can go through and fill everything out. And we'll notice these signature fields are already pre-assigned to my client. So when I share these documents off to my client Taylor here in the next couple of minutes, he'll be asked to sign in all of the fields that he normally would. So just as if he was sitting next to me in the office today, we're going through Taylor sign here, click here, sign here. 40. Taylor sign here, beautiful. Here's my exclusive right. Here's all that information. So we'll say we're going through, we're preparing these documents, making sure everything looks perfect. TV, awesome. And then let's just scroll through these documents. I always like to just to double check and make sure my signatures are assigned correctly to my client, make sure they're assigned to the buyers, the sellers, the other agent, you name it, Taylor sign here, perfect. And then here, let's just go through these. Looking good. Buyer signature, Taylor sign here. Now here at my last document, this is that short sale listing addendum. Remember, this is the one that I brought in from my desktop. I simply dragged and dropped this right in. What we'll notice is I can't click in these fields to type in. Nothing autofill just because this is a PDF document. There's no interactive fields on this document just yet. This is at the header of my page. I have all of these different options as it comes to working with PDF documents. So you can add signatures, date fields, text boxes, strike throughs, anything that you as agents need to do to these forms, you can. So if you needed to add some text, say right here, you can just drag and drop a text field. And you can make this as large or as small as you need it to be. The agents that are on the call with me right now, and especially for some of the more seasoned loopers, as we call them back here, when it comes to working with PDF documents, sometimes it can become a hassle with having to drag and drop text fields, time and time again. Okay, I want a text field right here. Okay, maybe I want another text field over here. There's a hotkey that you can use, and this is a really cool tip that not too many people know about. So instead of having to drag and drop text fields throughout these forms, if I grab a text field, and here I'll walk you through it. I'm just going to grab a text, and I'm doing nothing right now on my keyboard. This is just chasing my mouse. But if I hold Shift on my keyboard, so if I just clicked and I'm holding Shift on my Mac right now, and I go and I click right here. Watch, I'm still holding Shift. This text box still chases my mouse. And I'm going to let go of Shift and drop my last field right here. So that's how you can add multiple text fields. The same applies to checkboxes, strike-throughs, initials, and signatures. If you want to add more than one field in one sitting, select your field, hold Shift, and just click wherever you need them. Here's another little tip. So, we have our text fields right here. Normally, I'd have to grab the little caret here, whatever this is called at the bottom, and drag it over. If I click in the field, like I'm going to type, so I just clicked in it. You can see I did. And I hold Shift. So click, I hold Shift, and then I click where I want it to end, it jumps. So, and again, it's click, hold Shift, click, click, hold Shift, click. And it jumps, so all of your text fields can now be perfectly aligned. They can all be perfectly the same size, so you don't have 8.5 in one and 12 in the other. Very easy to do. Signature fields as well. So let's add a signature field right here for my client here. Let's just make it match up perfectly fine. Awesome. So we just dropped a signature field right here in my seller view. But it looks like it wants me to sign right now as the agent, and technically it does. So this field is, as I like to refer to them as, this field is unlocked in a way. So if I share this form off to anyone could be able to sign right here. But normally in a transaction, we'll have more than one buyer or more than one seller. I don't want to, whoever to sign in this first field, I want my client Taylor to sign right here. So I can assign this field to specific people, to specific parties. So I can click Assign Field right here and say, hey, I want my client Taylor to sign right there. If you have another field, you can add as many signatures, text fields, strike-throughs, radio buttons that you want. But just as a tip, if you need to add, let's play around with some checkboxes. So if I wanted a whole bunch of checkboxes right here, I can go through and add as many as I want to. Right there. And as always, when it comes to preparing documents, always make sure to save the information that we've done so far. So if you are in here preparing a listing packet or a buying packet, I always recommend just hit the save button every couple of documents. So just in case someone kicks the wireless router in the office across the room and it shatters against the wall, or someone unplugs your computer from the socket and it turns off, you still have all of your information saved in Dotloop. But don't worry, if you hit your back button or try to close out of the screen for any reason, you will be presented with a pop-up saying, oh, hold on, Taylor, you have unsaved information. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes or no, stay or leave. So always make sure you save from time to time. And then here, let's go back to our transaction. And I want to show you a couple different ways as it comes to sharing these forms off to your clients for their approval and for their signature. So you'll notice I'm hovering over my addendum right here, and I get this option to share. So just as if I could open these documents up one by one, prepare them individually, you can share them one by one. Or if you wanted to share these two right here, you can just check them off and hit the big blue button that says share. Or here, let's share these three. So let's share these three documents off to my client Taylor for his electronic signatures. So I simply select the three documents that I want to share. Button, share. and I'll be presented with this. What this pop-up is saying is it's saying, hey, Taylor, listing agent, you're about to share these 3 documents off to your client, Taylor. He has 7 fields assigned to him, so 7 signature or initial fields, and he can sign these documents. So this permission of can sign simply means that Taylor can see these documents, he can read them, and he can sign them. That's it. He won't be able to go through and check boxes off, make any changes, add any additional fields like we just were as agents. He can simply see, read, and sign. View only, this permission would be used if I was sharing, let's say, this purchase and sale off to someone at the bank. Maybe they're helping someone out with the mortgage. They can simply see it, download it, and have a copy of it. Can fill and sign, this would be used if I was sharing, let's say, a property disclosure statement off to one of my clients where they would go through and check the boxes off, type in the fields. Yes, you can keep the washer and dryer, it's ugly, I didn't want it anyway, the sidewalk is crack free. You name it, share with the can fill and sign. Can edit in private would be used if I was sharing to, in this case, it would be the buying agent. They can change and share off to their clients for electronic signatures. But for today, I just want my client Taylor to be able to see, read, and sign these forms. I can also send a message off to him as well. I could say, hey Taylor, go through, review, complete, and sign these documents. If you have any questions, call me on my cell. It's 12345. Taylor's a little bit more traditional of a client. He's going to print these documents off anyway, fill them out by hand, drop them at the office. No problem at all. You can attach a PDF version of these documents to the email we're getting ready to send him right now. So, hey, I don't know if he's going to print these off. I'm sending him this custom message. I'm going to send these with can sign, so he's getting the whole show. So let's go ahead and share these documents off to him. Hit share. And it's that easy to share documents from Dotloop to your clients for electronic signatures. And remember, all that we've done up to this point is I simply created my loop, loaded in my documents, I prepared them, they auto-filled themselves from within the forms, I added my client right from within them, and then I shared them right off to my client. My client Taylor was just hit with an email saying, your agent shared these 3 documents with you. Click this big blue link to log in and go through and sign them. And if you have any questions up to the point where we're at right now, please feel free to chat them off our way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new tab and I'm going to show you exactly what your clients see and just how easy it is for them to go through the client signing experience. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to open up an incognito window here in Google Chrome so it doesn't log me out. And then I want to take you through the client signing experience. It's the easiest thing that they'll do all day. Hopefully I remember my email. Oh, there we go. I remember it. So it's the worst when I forget my email login. That's happened before. So here, I'll just zoom in on this email that the client gets. And here, I'm just going to reshare my screen. So here's the message that the client received. Here's the header. I've shared these 3 documents with you. The body of the email, since this is Outlook, those 3 attachments are right up here at the top of the page. If this was Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, those would be down at the bottom. And to get into these documents, to sign them electronically, all the client needs to do is click this button right here that says View Documents. Your client clicks View Documents once, and they will be brought to the first page of the first form that they need to sign. And what you'll notice here is my client didn't have to go to Dotloop.com to create an account, wait for a confirmation email or anything like that. He clicks that link, he's brought to the first page, the first form he needs to sign. Now, of course, I can go through and review these documents. I can start the signing process by clicking in this field right here. Or if I just wanted to be walked through the entire signing process, I just click the flashing button right up here that says Start Signing. Taylor, click here. Once my client clicks in this first field, he'll be asked to adopt his signature. What this is saying, hey Taylor, is this what you want your signature to look like for this transaction? Taylor, are you signing as Taylor Brooks, the home buyer or the seller? Or, POA for ABC Trust? or CMO for ABC Marketing Corporation. So your client can control how they sign depending on this transaction. And also, what's even cooler is if Taylor was signing from his iPhone or his iPad or your iPhone or iPad or his fancy new touchscreen computer, he can draw his signature out as well with his finger or with his stylus. Now, since I have a trackpad on my computer, if I try to do that, that would be brutal. So we'll go with just the standard Dotloop type right here, adopt and sign. Perfect. Drops my signature in that first field, and the system drops me down to the next area that I need to either sign or initial. Taylor, click here. Perfect. And we will go through and just click throughout all of these documents, and the system is walking me through everywhere that I need to sign as the client. It doesn't get easier than this. Awesome. Here's the last field that's assigned to me to sign in. As the client, I click in this field, and to finish the signing process, I will finish this process in the same exact way that I started it. I click the flashing button at the top of my screen that says finish signing. Once your client clicks this, they are done. If you wanted to close the lid of this laptop, you could. If you wanted to close out of this browser, you could do so as well. Once your client clicks finish signing, everything is confirmed and locked on these documents. The client will be asked if they choose to. You don't have to if they don't want to, but I highly, highly recommend that they do. They can create a 100% free of charge Dotloop account. They just simply need to put a password on it. And the cool thing is if they create a Dotloop account, at any point in time, if you wanted to log back in and see these forms, you can come in and look at them. You can download these, print them off, burn them to a CD, you name it. But I always like to show you this client profile, simply because you'll notice the client only sees these 3 documents that have been shared with them. So if I had a loop containing 20 or 25 different random forms, you name it, and I share 4 off to my client, or 5 off to my client, or 5 off to the buying agent, they only see the documents that have been shared with them. And they can only do with these forms what we have said that they could. So as the agents, when it comes to this transaction, you play air traffic control. So you control who sees what, when they see these documents, and what they can do with the forms once they have them on their side of the table, so to speak. So very easy as it comes to the client signing experience. He clicks that big blue link that says view documents. They go through and click in all of the fields that are assigned to them. If they want to create an account, they can. They don't have to if they don't want to. And what happens is, as soon as the clients are done signing as the agent, I'm hit with a notification saying, hey, Taylor just signed these 3 documents in Cervello Lane. Go ahead and click this link to view them. And now back here over in our agent profile, if I refresh, we will see that these documents are no longer waiting on others. They have been signed. And let's open up one of these documents. I want to show you what the electronic signatures look like in Dotloop and some of the tracking that goes on behind the scenes with these signatures as well. So we'll notice here on the signature, it's Dotloop verified. Double tap, there we go. With a day and time stamp in this long, unique code behind it. It says it's Dotloop verified. What this code and what this Dotloop verification references is at the header of every single page of any document that has ever been signed in Dotloop, there's this link. That link is right here. And what this link does and where it takes you is it will take you off to our signature verification page. So if anyone asks for an electronic certificate or a verification, anything along those lines, direct them here. And they will have all of the information that they need about these signatures and about these initials. A lot of times banks will ask for this, especially if you're working with a bank or a property. You can direct print this page, you can go right to the document. But what people really want to see is not only do we get another day and time stamp and a unique ID for the signature itself, what everyone wants to see is this IP address. So not only do you get a day and time of when Taylor signed this document, with this IP address, you can actually Google this and really see where I'm at right now, where I'm signing this document from. So you get a day and time, and you also get a location of where this document was signed from as well. And that's at the header of every page of any document that's been signed in Dotloop. So here, let's go back to our transaction document. So we have our addendum right here in a couple different ways to get to that verification page as well. The first is from within the document itself. In the second is, remember, we have our option icons. There's a lot more of them now since we have a lot more documents in here. If I click this option, I see these different options that I have. I can go right to my signature verification page. So we can hop right to the signature verification page for this document. But as it does come to these documents, when you're looking at the forms here in Dotloop, you are seeing the most up-to-date, or what we like to refer to them as the most version now copy of the form. So you're seeing the most up-to-date copy of these contracts right here within your loop. But in all reality, let's say here on this counteroffer, this addendum, or even just a standard offer, there could be 10 or 15 prior versions of these documents existing out there somewhere. But here in your Dotloop, you're only seeing the most up-to-date copy of the form. Well, we have the entire history of this document as well. So right here underneath history, this is where you can go in and see literally every single prior version of the form right here in history. And here, if we scroll to the bottom here, check this out. I would like to show this off. This is cool. So here's version 1. Here's the one that I loaded in from my templates. This is the one that I filled out. So here's the original copy of the contract. If I wanted to download it, I could. I could download it, or I could view it right here in Dotloop. And then here's version 2. Here on version 2, this is one that I shared off to my client, quote unquote Taylor. I also see I attached it as a PDF to the email that I sent. Not only do I see when I shared it off to my client, I also see when he viewed it as well at 4:31 p.m. Eastern Time. If I'm crunched and someone needs a document by, let's say, 11:30 in the morning, you share it at 11:20. You get on the phone with the agent at 11:35. Hey, did you see that offer I just sent your way? The agent goes, no, didn't see it. We can't entertain it. You can always hop into the history and see, oh, well, yeah, I see you saw it at, 11:28. You want to work with me on this transaction or not? So everything that is done to these documents is tracked, backed up, and cataloged. You can even go in on a field-by-field basis as well and see the history of each field on the document if you really choose to also. And then here's version 3, the one that my client signed. And again, here's the one that I viewed at 4:35. If you wanted a copy of any of these, you can certainly download a copy of them right here. So very easy as it comes to sharing documents off to clients for their electronic signatures. Very easy to see the signature verification of those as well. Now, a lot of times, especially if we're sharing these documents off to, say, our buying agents or our listing agents through Dotloop, is sometimes they'll just send us the signed version of the contract in our inbox. Those will be in our inbox or saved on my desktop, or if I have the mobile app, I can literally take pictures of these documents from my phone and upload them into Dotloop. So you'll have, your original version of this counteroffer right here, this addendum, saved in Dotloop, but you'll have, I'm just going to close out of my agent screen, but you'll have the updated version right here, saved on your desktop that I just drafted. Short sale listing. Here's the original version and here's the new one over here. You can replace the old copy of the contract with the new copy by simply dragging and dropping the new version of the form over top of the old version of the document as well. You just drop it right in place. Are you sure you want to replace this? Yes or no? The cool thing about this replace feature, especially if you get some documents sent back to you from the buying agent, let's say you sent them an exclusive right? And they send it back to you and it's named scan 01, so scan 18 or whatever that number is. And you drag and drop it over top of your original form, Dotloop will actually rename that document to you as to how you have it saved before. So if you replace the old with the new, Here it is right there. And what happens to the old version of the document is that old version of the form becomes archived. So inside of Dotloop, and it's inside of the transaction here as well, once something is created or once something is loaded in, there's no way to permanently delete it. You can only archive those documents or archive those transactions. So think of archiving the form. Let's say here on this counteroffer, whoopsies, I uploaded this counteroffer into the wrong transaction, or I accidentally uploaded 2 copies of it. Sometimes that happens. And I want to remove this. Well, we can come to our option and hit archive, or I can check the item off or the items and bulk archive, or simply just archive this copy. And this goes into the archive within the transaction. So think of the archive within Dotloop as brushing something underneath the rug. You can always lift the rug up and see what's underneath it, and you can always show your archive right here. So if we hit show archive, we'll see all of the documents that we've archived, and you'll notice that they're ghosted. And then we see our 3 active forms right here. And then we can hit hide archive. So very easy to remove forms if you go, I uploaded it into the wrong loop, or I brought in an old copy of the document. You can simply archive the file, check the item off, and hit archive to your option as well. Now, sometimes maybe if you'd still like to get blue ink on paper, meet up with your clients, and have them sign everything by hand, perfectly fine. But you want to use Dotloop to prepare all of your forms just to make sure they're nice and clean and crisp as you print them. You can still use Dotloop to prepare all of your documents, but hey, if the client's coming into the office or they're just going to swing by, and I wanted to print all of these forms off, you can prepare all of your documents in Dotloop, get everything pre-populated, and then check off your entire listing folder right from the system as well. You can print right here. So you can print all of these forms off, and granted, once your client signs all of them, you can bring them right back into the system. But sometimes when you bring forms into the system, or Barry Buyer Agent sent me an email with that PDF attachment, sometimes the scanner will combine the documents. You'll have one large scan of 10 different forms. One scan into Dotloop, and you can split your documents apart within the system as well. So here, let me show you what this exclusive writes, because this is more than one page. I'm just going to download a quick copy of this. And I'm just going to drop it right here. And I'm just going to bring this right over top of this one. Perfect. So let's say I have my exclusive right here. Let's say this was called Scam 1111. I open it up, and I notice I have 5 pages of documents, but it's really 2 forms. Underneath File, you have the option to split documents, so you can split forms into as many documents as it is pages long. Split documents. We have 5 pages. Split documents into, say, 1 to 3 is the exclusive. Page 4 to 5 is a lead-based paint. Then we hit split. And we can split them right apart. You can rotate the page left and right. You can also rotate the entire file left or right as well. So if your scanner goes crazy and scans everything in upside down as just one large document, you can rotate it around and split it apart. Very, very easy. And then back here at the loop, here are these 2, exclusive and the lead-based paint. So if you have any questions as it comes to splitting documents or bringing in those PDFs and replacing old copies with new copies, feel free to chat them off our way. We can help you out with anything along those terms. Now, one last thing that I always like to show off, just because it's so easy to do, is a lot of times, and I know a lot of the agents on the call with us today, your brokerage has what's called the brokerage dashboard set up. And what the broker dashboard is it's a place where admins can go to see all of the transactions that are taking place underneath their brokerage. And it's where the admins can actually come in and approve and return your files all from Dotloop. So we created this transaction in Dotloop. So you can take the transaction really of the client coming to, hey Taylor, I want to buy a house, or hey Taylor, I want to sell my house, all the way up to the point where the admins review the files and keep everything, really put everything away for safekeeping. And the way that we turn this transaction into our office for review, so let's say here in 12/12, we sent these documents off to everyone, everyone signed where they needed to, into my office for review. So no more needing to print these forms off, download them, drive 15 minutes one way to the office, or drive into the office to print them off. All you need to do is submit to review right here. So watch how easy it is to turn this transaction into my office for review. I literally click this button that says submit. And I choose the folder that I want to turn in, and I'll say what type of transaction this is. Hey, is this a buying? Is this a listing? And I can also send a message off to my admins as to why I'm turning this in. You don't have to if you don't want to, entirely up to you. We could say something like, something along those lines. Admins love it when we say that to them. Hey, and we simply hit submit. Turning a transaction into your office review has never been easier at all. You click that button that says submit for review. Your admin team is notified in two different ways. The first way being they're hit with an email saying 12/12 has just been submitted. Click this link to review it. And also on their dashboard side up. So they'll have another profile. It's called admin dashboard. This will pop up on the top of their list to say, ding, 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 12/12 surveillance needs to be reviewed. Go ahead and start reviewing it. So very, very easy to create a transaction in Dotloop, to add your documents, be it from your desktop, from your templates, to work with and interact with it, be it filling out the interactive copy of the forms, or simply adding a couple text fields. Remember to hold that shift key if you want to drop multiple fields. Sharing documents off to the clients. Client goes through and clicks in all the fields that they need to. And once everyone has agreed to the terms, you're ready to turn this transaction into the office for review. All you need to do is submit to review. So extremely easy as it comes to working with and interacting with Dotloop. And when we're going through webinars like this, I always like to suggest if you see something within the system, if you want to try it out, definitely log into your Dotloop here after the call, create a loop, load in some documents. And remember, anyone that creates a loop here after the call is entered to win that $100 gift card. But as it comes to learning anything new, especially if you're a newer agent, be it a cell phone, a new computer, a dance move, or even Dotloop, the best way to learn anything new is to log in and to play around with the system. And as questions come up, I want you to reach out to your support team. We have a massive support team here that's here 7 days a week for you, between it's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 12 midnight Eastern, and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. So you ring out to us with questions, we can get that question answered for you as soon as possible. And where you can find the support team number, and where you can also find the link off to our support site, is at the bottom of literally any page in Dotloop. You have your support team number right here. Make sure to enter in your member ID, especially if you're a premium subscriber. 513 number, if you dial that, you'll be connected with one of my support reps right here in downtown Cincinnati. And also, if you do, if you'd rather see how to do something, or maybe watch a quick video or read a well-drawn-out article, rather than calling someone up and chatting with them, feel free to visit our help center, our support site right here. And about 90% of the questions that my support team receives can be answered here on our support site in about a minute or less. Very helpful information and articles broken out, especially as it comes to creating your first loop, adding documents, sharing, what the clients see and how they sign. And we also have a literal unlimited amount of trainings that you all can attend. We have your webinar schedule right here that you can pick and choose from to make sure it fits your schedule best. And we also have all of our pre-recorded trainings and webinars as well right here. We have 2 of them up so far. Really a keeping your office happy, which just shows you how to create a loop, upload your documents, and submit for review. And then we also have our best practices webinar right here, just a full-length webinar covering everything that we've gone through today right here on this webinar as well. So as you start logging in, as you start having questions, hey, how did Taylor get those documents to autopopulate? Wait a second, how do you add more than one field at once? Remember, it's the shift key. Or hey, where's my Amazon gift card? Feel free to give us a call on that support number. Feel free to visit our support site. We can help out with any questions at all. So slide us to pick up the phone, give us a call. Do not hesitate to join us on a future webinar. We have these going on until 8 p.m. tonight. So maybe here after the call you have a question pop in your head and you just want to join us. Feel free to join us on a future webinar, and we can help out with any questions and literally anything that you guys want to help with on the system. So we have a couple minutes here remaining, so if you have any questions at all about anything that I've covered today as opposed to creating transactions, sharing forms, logging in, client signing, most importantly, how we submit that transaction off to our office to get paid, fire away. We can help out with anything. And actually, I think, Eddie, here you go. Are you on the next webinar?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Up next, we have my man, Eddie. He's going to be hosting the next webinar with the offer. So today we covered, at least on this call right now, how to create and work with a listing transaction in Dotloop. And what Eddie's going to do is he's actually going to come in and make an offer on the transaction that I just created. So if you want to see how that's done, feel free to stick around or maybe register for the next webinar coming up. If you did not register for it, you can go right off to the support site, actually right now, and register for it and hop on with him, and he can show you how to make an offer on a transaction that already exists in Dotloop, so you can avoid those menacing double loops or duplicate loops. I know there's some admins on the call today that go crazy with duplicate loops. So again, yeah, thank you all for taking time out of your busy days. I know how busy real estate agents get, especially once the season's in full swing. I notice here in Cincinnati, and I hope you all learned something new that you can take back to your business or maybe to another agent in the office that couldn't join us today, just to stay slightly more organized, or maybe a nice tip you can take to your office and show off to everyone in your next meeting, especially that shift key. If you show the agents that, so show that off. That's a little hidden gem within the system. And again, please, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to your support team. We are here to help. So thanks again for everyone that's attending, and I look forward to speaking with and working with you all in the future. And we'll be here for the next couple of minutes to answer any questions that come through. So thank you all again, and as always, happy looping. Eddie's going to kill it on this next webinar. He's so excited. He's going to jump jacks in the next room. And yeah, after the call, make sure to log in, create that loop, maybe email some documents in or play around with that shift key trick, and you will be entered to win your $100 Amazon gift card. So feel free to join us. Thank you all again. Thanks, guys.